Hello, this is the help video for Exchange 2010 database backups. An Exchange database backup in 2010 is done using VSS writers. So we'll set up a client and get the agent installed, and then in a different video we'll show you how the actual backup runs and what the restores would look like. So let's get started. We'll add a new client. This client will always be a 64-bit client. In a previous video we created this mailbox client and it was running over port 9102, but since we're actually pointing two different clients to the same machine and we're running two different agents, the 32-bit and the 64-bit, we'll need to run over different ports, so be sure and make that change. I'm going to plug in my address here. For most Exchange database backups, I recommend a weekly schedule, and I would typically set the job recycling to something like 2 or 3 weeks, and then set your incremental and differential also to 2 or 3 weeks. This would certainly vary depending on the schedule you followed, but this would just be my recommendation, or typical recommendation for Exchange 2010 database backups. Another thing we'll change is the file set. For Exchange 2010, we will want to leave VSS enabled and override this, and we'll need to specify to have an Exchange database backup run. And in this example I don't really care to back up my C drive, so I'm going to delete that, but you're welcome to leave that, or edit this file set further if needed. If you need to add in a D drive or whatever other, you're welcome to do so. And that should be about it as far as adding a client. It shouldn't be anything really new or different. Oops, I forgot to apply my changes. Now we'll save that. Okay, so the next step would be to download and install the software. So go to the Client Software tab and download the 64-bit agent. Since we're running on Exchange, or rather, since we're running on Windows 2008, I'll pretty much always follow this procedure of going to the actual, wherever I downloaded the file, and then I'll right-click on it and run as administrator. You'll want to accept the various agreements. You'll notice here there are no plugin options. That's because Exchange 2010 is backed up using Microsoft's slightly newer VSS writers. So we'll be backing up with the Exchange VSS writer. So it's just a really simple installation. There's a little bit more tweaking we'll need to do once it finishes the install. Okay, again, if this was all configured on an Active Directory server, you could just look up and the appliance would, or this tool would find your appliance information. But since I'm not set up that way, we'll just choose this manual option and run the wizard. This will be my appliance password. Then make sure you select the correct client, and you're done. Now if that hides on you, just go to your taskbar at the bottom and bring it back. For this example, I'm going to disable the system state backup, and for an Exchange database backup on Exchange 2010, we do have to run the service as a different or privileged user. The reason for this is not because of the backups. The backups would actually be successful running as the local system account, but the way we run the restores, we require that you run as a privileged user account. So I'm going to enter in one of my administrator accounts here. And start that up. Or not. Whoops. And that's it. So go ahead and that's it. Once we've got our client installed, we should be able to refresh this and get our green check mark. Now the client is ready to run a backup job. So we'll watch that in a different video. Thanks.